My loves, and welcome to another episode. Your host here, Michelle Hext. Today, I'm looking at my phone because there's something that I want to share with you, but I want to talk to you today about having faith in your business model and your systems and just how important that is, and how when you have that faith, it just quietens so much noise in your head. So, I'm going to start with a message that I received. In case you don't know, I have a program called Legacy, and Legacy is it's officially a 10-day container, but you have lifetime access to it. And so over 10 days, which is meant to be done over 2 weeks. So you work Monday through Friday, take the weekend off, come back in, work Monday through Friday again, and then that should be a wrap. And the whole point around legacy is to helping you develop a legacy brand. So it's about really digging into what you stand for and what you want to build a business around, and then how to structure that business. And every day in the group, or you're given homework. So you access the content and then you come into the Signal group, you drop your content, which is the answers to the homework that you've got set for that day. And then I go in and I support you around those answers. So obviously, I'm not going to give away the person, but this person said their homework for day 3 was, my current business model is really throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. I want to look at how I am tying my worth and value to the prices I charge when they're not really where I want them to be at. I want a model where I have less touch points and more time for the life I want to live while still providing amazing service. And I'm not 100% sure what that looks like yet. So this is, as always, right? There's always a bit of a theme. So this is what's happening in the Signal group, but also today, we were having a discussion in my inner circle around the business stuff. So if you're new here, the work that I do now is supporting those people that come through either the inner circle or through my podcast millionaire program. And so the podcast millionaire program is there to amplify your voice, right? So we build you an audience of millions, we monetize your podcast, and we generate streaming revenue that then goes on and pays for your ongoing promotion. So we build you an audience of millions, and it doesn't really cost you anything other than your first investment. So the people that are a good fit for the podcast millionaire are those coaches, experts, course creators that are at the premium end or moving into the premium end, and they're figuring out the simplest, most leverage business model possible, because we're going to start sending a lot of podcast traffic their way, volume, volume, volume. So we need to make sure that the business is set up so that they can scale. So a lot of these conversations are going on at the moment. And so when I look at that particular message, there are, some red flags. And, I see myself these days more than anything else as a visionary, a founder, a CEO, and that is really my role these days. But I'm still and always will be a mentor, a coach, and a strategist at heart. That's what I do. That's what I've spent decades of my life doing, helping people create strategies for marketing and scaling their businesses. And so it's very easy for me to slip back into that content. And so when I look at this, right, and I look at this beautiful coach, and she's saying her business model is really throwing shit at the wall and seeing if it sticks. I'm pretty sure this particular lady has been in business for quite a few years now. And then she spoke about, she's tying her prices to her self-worth, and talking about freedom and stuff like that. The freedom is obviously going to be a byproduct of getting these other things. And my advice to her was around making sure that she builds a business model and systems that feel rock solid and aligned so that she can trust in them, and she can stop figuring out how to make this work, right? When you don't have a system in place for acquiring customers or clients, when you don't have a system that's in place and running and working, what tends to happen is your brain is constantly scanning for, how do I get this to work? How do I get clients? How do I get more leads in my business? How? And you're in this constant loop of trying to figure stuff out, right? So you've got to make some decisions and then you've got to be really firm in those decisions. You've got to back those decisions and you've got to trust in those decisions. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit more. But the goal that I wanted to talk about for just a little minute is tying self-worth to the prices that you charge and to your business, right? When I see this, this is such beginner stage business. Now, there's nothing wrong with being a big beginner in business, right? Everybody's got to start somewhere. But if you've been in business for a few years and you're still deeply entangled, your self-worth is deeply entangled with the offer that you have and the business that you have, it gets really heavy and it becomes very personal. And because here's the reality, right? Business is up and down. And so if you have a business that is doing well, then you're going to feel amazing, right? You're going to be, I'm brilliant, I'm amazing, I'm so worth the prices that I charge. But what happens when things take a bit of a downturn, and that happens in business? So what happens if that happens? Do you suddenly feel like a loser? Do you suddenly feel like you're not good at what you do? Do you suddenly feel like you're not of value anymore? And the sad reality is a lot of people in a lot of entrepreneurs do feel that way. Their self-worth is so entangled with whether they're making money that month or not. And it's fucking exhausting. And it doesn't need to be that way. So my advice was you've got to create some distance between you personally and your business. And our business is always going to be our baby. Entrepreneurs love their businesses, right? We are invested. There is emotional entanglement there. But when your self-worth is so deeply tied to whether your business is making money or not, you are setting yourself up to feel miserable. You just are, and you don't need to live that way. There have been times in my business when there's been financial dips. It doesn't, excuse me for the beep, that doesn't make me feel like suddenly I forgot everything that I know or I don't hold the value that I held. I just know that that's business and, it'll run through its cycle and it'll do its thing. I guess the thing is, I've been in it for so long that I know these cycles exist, right? And I remember in those early days where I felt like a success or a failure dependent on whether my business was doing, in the early days, six figures or not. And looking back at how fucked up that was and just how miserable it made me, I want you to avoid that. You are worthy anyway, right? Your business is not you. Your business is something that you've created, and the nature of businesses are that they go through cycles at different times. And sometimes it takes a little while for things to kick off the way that you want them to. And so let me take you inside our inner circle today, right? So I have one beautiful coach in there, and a month ago on the call, she was tasked with creating a video so that we could add it to a video sales letter page and run a campaign that way, because that's working really well at the moment. And so a month later, yesterday, she came into the group and she said, "Oh, I'm just letting you know I'm really struggling. Like, not in a great place because I've been trying to do this video and I just can't do it." And of course, that's not what I want for my people. I don't want them to labor for 1 month, forcing themselves to do something that doesn't feel right. And so I said to my client, it felt really good for you at the time. It felt like something that you wanted to do, but then it didn't feel good anymore. You are allowed to change your mind. And you've got a lot of resistance around this. It's making you miserable. It feels heavy. This is not the strategy for you. It doesn't matter how well it's working for other people. This is not the strategy for you. So what are we going to do that feels like the right strategy? And so I was able to help her take her strategy in a completely different direction. Her face lit up again. She's suddenly excited again, and she's ready to jump in and do what she needs to do to create this different way of doing things. I'm not going to give too much away, but I'm excited for her. It's definitely more aligned. And so it doesn't matter how good a strategy is. It doesn't matter how well it's working for somebody else. If it's not meant for you, if you are laboring over something for a month, That's not, that's telling you something. You've got to listen to that. Now, yeah, there's an argument for, sometimes we've got to get over our resistance and all the rest of it. This woman's been in business 15, 20 years. She knows herself, right? Most of the people that I work with are, older. And so she knows herself. And I'm not going to say suddenly create a whole new personality and then go and do the thing that I asked you to do. We're going to be working with who people are and what their strengths are and what feels aligned for them. And sometimes we just have to change our mind. Sometimes we get caught up in the moment where an idea feels like a brilliant idea and we see it working for other people and we're like, yes, this is the thing that I want to do. And suddenly it doesn't feel so good anymore. You're allowed to change your mind, right? There are lots of different ways to achieve the same result. And it's really important that you find the way for you because that's what's going to work for you. And so that was that conversation. She's off and racing now and she's feeling really good about it. Spoke to another client on the call and we were talking about her funnel. So she's running a VSL. It's early days yet, but calls are coming through really well. So it's working very well for her. And so, what were we working on today? We were talking about a retargeting strategy. We were talking about, oh, yeah. So, this is where I wanted to get to today. I wanted her to lean into and be reminded of the fact that she's got confidence in the strategy that we've got. So, on our last call, she was committed to going away and creating a masterclass so that she could retarget people from her ads to this masterclass. Felt like a great idea. And now she was suddenly, I'm not sure if I'm doing this because I really want to do it or because I feel like I need to do it or because I feel like, it's the funnel's a little bit slow right now. So I feel like I need to just do something. And I said, well, you've got to answer that question. You've got to be really clear about that question. And in the end, we decided that she has this masterclass. She really loves the masterclass. It's automated. It's not going to be to a live call or like a live masterclass or anything like that. So we decided, well, let's just run that ads to that on the front end and let's retarget with the video sales letter strategy call. And so she's going to go away and she's going to do that. But I had to feel really satisfied that she was 100% happy. Are you happy with the masterclass? And she's very happy with the masterclass. And so we've got this system, we've got this ecosystem in place now. And even if we look at the podcast millionaire, right? I fucking love my team. I love the product. Like I could not be more excited about a product than this thing. Like it is everything. Anyway, I was speaking to my group this morning and letting them know I have unwavering faith in this. There is so much alignment. And when I pull every single piece apart, everything is 100 out of 10. So if I start at the very beginning, so when people first experience the podcast millionaire, the first contact they're going to come into is going to be my ads. Am I happy with the quality of my ads and the way they're being run and the person that I have running my ads? I used to run my own ads all of the time. That was just what I did. I'd hired a lot of companies to run ads for me and they sucked. Nobody ever got a better result than me. But, I started this process in the last quarter of last year where I was really conscious that it's time to start to remove myself from the parts of my business that I don't need to be a part of. And so that started with hiring a salesperson. And then I realized I didn't want to do the ads. So I went looking for somebody and I found someone, she's fucking brilliant. And so can I do ads better than her? No. Would I want to spend the amount of hours she spends every single week in my ads, crunching the numbers, tweaking, tightening, all those things? Absolutely not. And so I look at that first piece of the puzzle, right? And it's like, would I change anything about this? Would I change anything about the person that I've hired? Would I change anything about the way they're running the ads, the strategy, all that? Answer is absolutely not. And then I look at the next piece of the puzzle. So when people come through the Podcast Millionaire, they look at the video sales letter and then they book a call. And of course, the next point of contact is my salesperson. And how do I feel about her? I fucking love her. And I know that when she's on a call, if there is a sale to be had with integrity and making sure the person is a right fit, is there anybody that could do that job better? No, she's at 100 out of 10. And could I do it better? Absolutely not. The product knowledge that this woman has for the Podcast Millionaire, second to none. She has spent hours and hours and hours understanding this very complex process, this product, and she loves it. She's so excited about the product. So would I change? This is 2 steps out of the 4 steps, right? So far. Would I change anything? Absolutely not. So then the next point of call is they come on board, they sign up to the Podcast Millionaire, and they need to be onboarded. I could have done that, but I elected not to. So I give them to my COO and she onboards them and she readies them to come into the inner circle group so that they are ready and they're going to get the very most out of their time in the inner circle. Again, is there anybody better? No. So, for example, somebody might come into the Podcast Millionaire and they might have their podcast hosted on a particular platform. And we have 5 platforms that we recommend just because the revenue is better and it's faster and all of those things. There are reasons that we choose these 5 platforms. So they might come in and be on a different platform and they're going to need to migrate over. So my COO will handle that. She'll hold their hand. She'll show them how to do it. She's au fait with all of the different platforms. They are not going to have to break a sweat over anything. She is going to hold their hand and then deliver them to me. So the first time I have contact with my Podcast Millionaire clients is when they come into the inner circle. And my girl has already given them everything they need. She's onboarded them. She's given them access to the call links and everything else. And so then I get to come in and do my part. And in the back end, at the same time, I have my podcast promotions team doing their thing. So those last 2 steps, me aside, would I change anything? No, I have a world-class team. They are all 100 out of 10. There is not one single thing that I would change about any of them because they're the best in the world at what they do. And so, and I know I'm good at what I do, right? So people come through, I do whatever I do with them, and the system works. Now, I look at that and there's not very many moving parts, right? There's 5. I said 4, but there's essentially 5. And when I look at each single part, is there anything I would change? Could any of it be better? And the answer is no. So what do you think that does for my brain? What do you think that does for my brain? It means that I excuse me, I've got a freaking phone call coming. My daughter, I'll have to call her back. So my brain is not thinking about anything like how are we going to get this to work? What if we need to change things? What about this? What about that? How do I need to tighten my sales? Do I need to, like, my brain is so quiet right now because I don't need to worry about any of that. I have 100% faith in the system that I've set up. My business model, my team, the system is rock solid. Do you have that level of confidence in all of the important moving parts of your business? Now, also, how simple is your model? Is it overcomplicated? Is it bloated? Is it heavy? Is it trying to do too many things? Most people create too many steps, too many variations, too many, if this doesn't, then this. I want to encourage you to simplify things as much as possible. So I want you to start with your offer. Whatever the offer is, start with the offer. Is there anything you need to fix? I spent 18 months developing this offer and making sure it could deliver on everything that I wanted to promise before I let it out into the world. And so I have no there is no resistance whatsoever about the offer. And that's big for me because this is an offer that I am not delivering on my own. I have a team. And so I have, I had developed such a mistrust over the years because people just were full of shit. Like people didn't do what they said they were going to do. And so I had developed this mistrust. So for me to have absolute trust is a testament to them and also a testament to the work that I've done on myself to get to this point. So, do you have that same level of confidence in your offer? If you don't, you've got to work on that. You've got to go fix it, right? Whatever the offer is, I don't know what you're doing in your business. And then from there, like, what is the step before the offer? What does your marketing look like? Go through it all with a fine tooth comb from the client perspective, right? So I'm just like, I'm somebody who is, I don't know, an accountant who's wanting to launch a podcast and open a mastermind to teach other accountants how to do things, for example, right? And they stumble across my ad. What's the first thing they're going to see? Am I happy with that? And then what's the next step? Am I happy with that? So go through it from the customer's perspective, not yours, right? Look at your potential client pathway from first discovering you all the way through to becoming a client. What are the cogs? Is every cog oiled and running smoothly, or is there friction in there? Is there a reason for you to hesitate? Is there any hesitancy about the work that you do? So, my client that couldn't get herself to record this video, she has zero doubt about her value, zero doubt about the work that she does and the results that she produces. She loves the work that she does. All of that was in place, but the marketing was misaligned. So she had to go fix that part. She didn't have to fix the product. She didn't have to fix her work or anything like that. It was just that very front end. And so you've got to pull it apart. And if you've got 27 steps, how can you do it in 5? Like simplify the process as much as you can. And then make sure every touch point from somebody first discovering you, however that is, for me, it's ads, all the way through to the very end. What does it look like? And you want to make sure that you're giving everything a 100 out of 10 as well, because if you're not, you're going to have so much noise in your mind. And if you are like that person in my legacy program who is like, my current strategy is throw shit at the internet and hope something sticks, she doesn't even realize how much energy she is burning every minute of every day just being like a heat seeking missile, right? So her brain is just seeking a solution, seeking a solution, seeking a solution. And she'll be looping. She's probably thinking the same thoughts over and over and over and over and over again every single day. And that can go on for a very long time. This can go on for years. And so, if we go back to that part of the conversation where, her value is tied in the pricing and all that sort of stuff, and throwing shit at the internet and hoping it sticks, is that the sign of somebody who has matured as an entrepreneur and ready for growth? It's not. It's a sign of somebody who is stuck. Now, not stuck, but overthinking and circling. And it's indecision is really what it comes down to. It's indecision. It's indecision around the strategy, the system. She's got to make some decisions, and then she's got to take the steps to make sure that her system feels like it's a well-oiled machine. She loves every part of it. She has absolute confidence in every part of it. And then she can go on thinking about other things. But until that happens, there's going to be noise. So is your brain noisy? If it's noisy, it's because you haven't made decisions and cut off any other option, right? I can't remember what decide actually means in Latin or whatever, but you know, right? It's like to cut off other options or something like that. That's a decision. That's a decision. So you need to make that sort of decision. And when you make that sort of decision, the noise stops. And so my client that's going to create this new way of moving people into her 12-month program, um, it feels really good for her. And so we're going to run with that and we're going to do what we need to do and we're going to get it up and racing and we're going to do all the things. And then we're going to see how that went and then we're going to scale it. And after the first round of this thing that she's going to do, she can make a decision. Did I love this? Is there anything that I want to change? What were the results? And this is something she loves. So we'll persevere until it works. And that's the attitude that you've got to have until it works. Until, not changing your mind every 5 seconds. So when you haven't made decisions and when you don't have confidence in every piece of the puzzle, that's when you keep chopping and changing. That's when you keep jumping ship. That's when you keep making different decisions too early in the piece. You're not giving yourselves enough time for things to take traction. And so, yeah, I think that's all I got to say about that. Do you want me to talk about my French lesson? I have to talk about it. So, I had my first French immersion lesson on Monday. So, I drove into the city. It was a beautiful day in the city. Oh, it was lovely. It was not overly hot, but the sky was blue. It was just a perfect day to be in Melbourne City. And I went to my French lesson, and there was a group of 6 of us there. The French teacher is French and she has a master's in teaching French. She also teaches at a university and she was brilliant and it was a true immersion. So you walk in and you're like, she's speaking French. And this is at the elementary level, like the very beginner level. All the instructions in the worksheet are in French. We had to listen, we had to speak, we had to, yeah. So it was like a little bit awkward at first because we were all a little bit like, oh God, I don't want to murder this in front of everybody. But, by the end of it, we were all listening and conversing, and it's just the best thing. It's exactly what I needed. So I'm so excited to go back on Monday. I remember the last time I did in-person French lessons, I remember not being excited to go back because I just felt like my brain just wouldn't work the way it needed to work, and I just felt overwhelmed. And the great thing about immersion is like she can see if you're struggling or not. She can see if you understand it because it's happening in real time. So you're either saying it right or understanding it right or whatever or not. And she gets to fix it in that moment. So yeah, I'm feeling really excited about it. It's been a good thing. So yeah, I'm excited to go back on Monday and spend some time in my city again. So I went in, I found a coffee shop and did some journaling, did a little bit of shopping while I was there. It was just a good time. So good for me. So good for me. Anyway, that's it. I will see you next week. Have an amazing week. And as always, like go to my website and have a look at what I have available. So I don't really talk about stuff with you that much, but legacy is a really great place to start. So if you're looking for that clarity, then that's a good place to start. Now, the great thing about legacy is that when you buy it once, you have lifetime access. So this particular client inside of legacy, she purchased it and did the program last year. And now she's redoing it. So she's come back in. She's like, I need a new level of clarity. I'm getting ready to change things around. And so she gets to take herself through that 10-day process with my support again, as many times as she needs to. And you get to do that too. So the price is it's about $1,000 and I've got to charge that price. It's not just a digital course where you download it and away you go. You actually have an open channel to me in terms of, yeah, it's specific to these 10 steps around legacy. So you can go to my website, michellehext.com, and you can hit /legacy and then you'll find the program, but you'll see the syllabus there. And so it's not like my inner circle, for example. It's not like I'm going to get in there and mentor you in a full-on way, but it's like I'm going to give you the support you need in answering these questions. I'm going to give you things to think about. I'm going to give you my opinion, my feedback. I'm going to give you suggestions. So you're going to get a lot in there. And as I say, you can repeat that as many times as you need to, and you will want to because we are always evolving. So I would definitely go and check that out if you're finding any kind of, yeah, sense of feeling like you're not quite aligned, feeling like you haven't quite nailed your business model, all of that stuff. And then I also have a program called Influence, and it's the same setup. So it's 10 days of lessons. You get to go into the group, and again, I'm supporting you. And that is about really leaning into your authority voice and sharing your message online. It's not about how to hack the TikTok algorithm or how to create reels that go viral. It's got nothing to do with that. It's more about who are you? What do you stand for? What do you want to say? And how are we going to say it? And then wherever you decide to share that, whether it's Substack, whether it's Instagram, whether it's Facebook, whatever it is, right? Whether it's YouTube, you get to do that using these principles. So that's legacy, that's influence. They're the only courses that I have. And then I have my inner circle. So you can come into the inner circle. It's a minimum of 3 months. And the inner circle is my inner circle. So we have a call every single week. And we have a WhatsApp group with support in between. And this is where you want to come if you want to speed up your process. So you might come in and say, look, my business model is a little bit all over the place. I'm thinking of pivoting, or I'm thinking of, I've created a bit of success, but I'm burning out. So I want to find a better way. I want to find a more leveraged way, or I think it's time for me to really go big and put my prices up in a big way. So now I want to create different offers that will house that sort of thing. And then, of course, the marketing strategy is where I help you get really clear on it. So we're building business models, we're building marketing systems, we're building everything that you need in real time. So you're not going to come in and watch lessons and you're not going to trawl through content. We're doing this in real time. So usually, if you're a brand new beginner and you don't know how to use the internet, and you're not willing to hire people to help you do that, it's probably not for you. You need to be somebody who is savvy, switched on, who knows how to get things done, and you're ready to build something big. And you just want me there with my experience and wisdom and all the stuff that I've gained over all of these years of being in business, and just help you to refine it. Typically, my role is in helping you find a simpler way and then helping you to develop the structure around that so that you're not overtaxing yourself. It's so wild to me how complicated people make things, and we want to keep it as simple as possible, as leveraged as possible, and we want it running on its own. And these days my role is definitely more role modeling what building a company and a world-class team looks like. And so I'm sharing the team stuff and how I'm leading and what all of that looks like. And so maybe you're at that place where you're like, I've been a solopreneur and now I'm ready to launch a company that has staff and I want to start to bring my team together. And so I'm going to help you know what needs to be in place before you even do that, and then help you to develop that team and your leadership style and all of those things. There is no textbook for how you become a leader and CEO when you've been a coach. Like there's no handbook on that. But it's something I've been very, very good at. I've been very, very bad at it as well, which is very useful for you because I can share, no, we don't do it like that. We don't think like that, that sort of thing. And so the inner circle is a beautiful place to come and spend 3 months with me where you get to build something incredible and let it be successful, wildly successful, and you get to have a good time doing it. Unless, of course, you make things hard for yourself. We can all do that, but my job's to make sure you don't. And then, of course, there's the Podcast Millionaire, where I help you amplify your voice. So if you've got something to say and you're looking for a very simple, elegant way to grow your business, to scale your business, and you typically have said something like, I need more eyes on my business. Like I'm happy with the way that it's set up, but I need more eyes. Well, you need more ears more than likely. And so it gets you out of that social media grind and hustle and trying to chase the algorithm and squeeze all of your decades of experience into like a 15-second reel that you want to go viral that doesn't fucking do anything anyway, even when it does. So it's like that's not, if you're not keen on that and you're ready to really find a simple way, a very leveraged way, then we do that. So we build you an audience of millions, we monetize your podcast, we build you an audience of millions. And then we continue to grow that audience every single month at no additional cost to you. Sounds too good to be true, I know, but it's not. I've developed this system for you. I've been using it, my clients have been using it. It works. And there was something, yeah, and you also get access to the inner circle because I could just create the audience for you. But I know that when you're ready to take a step like that, when you're ready to go bigger, when you're ready to build an audience of millions, right? When you're ready to do that, you're going to want to hit a hard reset on your business and the way you've been doing things. It's going to give you pause to say, right, I'm about to apply a lot of traffic to my business. Is it the way that I want it to be, or do I want to make some changes? Because now is the time to make some changes, and I help support you through that. Anyway, that is all I got. That is all I've got. Oh, is my hair looking better? I think so. It's still not quite right, but I just looked so starkly blonde last time. It was just not a good look. So we've been working on it. We're getting there. We're getting there. I'm going to have perfect hair by the middle of the year. That's the plan. I also need a cut. Look at this. Look at how long my hair is. It's insane. My hairdresser growled at me yesterday. She's like, we need to cut some of this shit off. And I'm like, we absolutely do. All right, that's it. I'm rambling. I will see you next week. Bye.